many hours a month to making this country a better place through service. And what they're looking for is elected officials, candidates, and campaigns that exhibit the kind of trust and leadership and vision that will inspire them.
Because the youth vote does matter.
There was a poll from the Harvard Institute of Politics that said that millennials, by a 15-point margin, will prefer to see Democrats in the White House next year. Will prefer to see a third term of Democrats in that seat.
Wait a minute. The young folk, at least according to this poll, they want more of the same? Usually, what you do, if you're in a hole that you don't want to be in, the first thing you do is you stop digging. Well, it's just a matter of fact that the youth vote matters. Some argue that, well, they don't know the significance of national issues till they have their own families and careers and property and they are paying their buku taxes. I disagree. It does matter. What is, though, the millennials most interested in, and what are politicians doing to win them over? We need to discuss that. Thankfully, here to discuss it, American Conservative Union's Dan Schneider. Dan, thank you for joining me. What are the millennials looking for in a candidate? What issues are hot? Why would they want more of the same?
Well, Governor, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being on with you. I think really you know better than anybody else what voters want. They want to be energized and excited. Frankly, Governor, John McCain's best decision was to select you as his running mate. And you could see what happened to his poll numbers when he announced you as his running mate. They skyrocketed. So that's what the candidates need to look for today, something to energize voters. That's the duty of every political candidate.
The importance of the millennial support, that is something that I think candidates maybe forget, and you being a great advisor in this area especially, if you could share with us that support that's needed. And by the way, kind of a practical question here, what is the age group of millennials? I was speaking to the great staff here at One America News, a lot of young people, and we were trying to figure out, okay, where's that cutoff point, you know, from the baby boomers, Generation X. Yeah. Who are the millennials?
Well, so the common understanding of a millennial is somebody who was a young adult by the time of the year 2000. So a millennial could be as old as 31, 32 today, and as young as, you know, a 16, 17-year-old. But yeah, the definition of a millennial is a little loose, but for the electoral purposes, we can, you know, assume that they're 18 to 31 or so.
Okay, so for them, who seems to be a top 2016 presidential candidate for them, in your opinion? You know, we see Trump is going rogue, Rand, he's attractively libertarian leaning, and then cruise control, you know, he is sharp. Dr. Ben Carson, so intelligent. I could go on. The bench is very deep. What's your opinion of what they are thinking about these candidates?
You know, that's a really interesting question. We have seen the millennials changing their horses here. Several months ago, many were standing behind Rand. That has started to change. Obviously, Donald Trump has attracted many. In just the last 3 weeks, we've seen huge poll shifts in favor of Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, and Carly Fiorina. What's common among all four of these people? They're outsiders. They are not the people who have been customarily thought of as the establishment candidates. They're also not governors. Mm-hmm. You know, in the past, it was thought that we needed a governor. Now, I don't think that there's magic behind whether somebody is a governor or not. I think the governors that we saw in the last debate probably didn't shine so well, and so their poll numbers have dropped. But millennials are looking for somebody who's going to give them something new. And frankly, when Barack Obama sought the presidency, he offered lots of new things. He offered that we'd have peace in the world and that the rising ocean tides would recede. He promised all sorts of things that the millennials bought into. Now the millennials feel burned and they're skeptical. So they are looking for somebody authentic who's going to provide something really new.
You're absolutely spot on there. That is certainly my perception, too, is that they want something different. They don't necessarily want the status quo. So we're citing this Harvard Institute poll, though, showing that, well, some of them do want a third Democrat term that would just turn into more of the same. How do you explain that?
Well, look, young people historically have been have moved left ideologically. But what I find more interesting is the voter enthusiasm among millennials. It's at an all-time low. There was a report done just last month that showed that millennials and those who lean left are only at a 16% enthusiasm rate, whereas people on the right are at 67 or 70%. So the enthusiasm is not with the left, even if intellectually some of these millennials would lean left.
Well, what can some of us old folks do to get everyone more excited about this, more cognizant of the fact that politics matter? You think politics don't affect you? Well, you got to get your head out of the sand, young people especially. How can us old folks help?
Well, Governor, you're not old, but I'm going to be shameless here and say, refer to two different governors. The first one, Governor Reagan, spoke at CPAC, the conference we hold every year. He spoke 14 times, and he made us promise that we would always make CPAC available to young people, accessible, they could afford it and come, and that we would design it for them. And Governor, you have been the fan favorite of CPAC for years. We need you back, Governor. Your speech at CPAC 2015 was widely thought by both the left and the right as the best speech at CPAC. It was strong, it was substantive, it was motivating. The way you spoke about veterans and what they have done for our country, it was spectacular. We hope to have you back. People like you are the sorts of things we need to attract millennials back to our cause.
Well, thank you for those kind words. And CPAC is such a blast. I want more people to know all about what CPAC accomplishes. And the only reason that I ever miss CPAC really is it's right in the middle of our winter snow machine season. My husband's in the middle of his Iron Dog race, and it's a busy month, but I'll get there. I will. So CPAC, amazing, engaged young people that you are leading there at CPAC. You expecting good things in the future, I'm sure, with CPAC, and really what motivates people to get in there as participants of CPAC and the sponsors of CPAC? How have they seen the light and understood that that's a place to be?
We're under new leadership now at the American Conservative Union, and we have really focused on bringing all three legs of the Reagan stool back to CPAC. Economic conservatism, social/cultural conservatism, and national security. What attracts conservatives, what attracts millennials? That they understand that that all these issues matter and they all are connected. And not all of them are going to be pro-life like I am. And not all of them are going to be strong on national security. But they all understand that all these issues are connected. And it's okay if there's some disagreement. They want honest discussion, and we provide that at CPAC, an honest discussion, but within a framework of strong conservatism.
Yeah, that's interesting, your suggestion there about the diversity. It strikes me as this just like a family. Within our own families, we do disagree politically, but big picture, we're all there. So, Dan, thank you so much for, keeping the faith, working really hard, so respecting the younger generation and not just taking it for granted that they're going to be there on one side or the other, but really putting forth effort to provide them information, and again, respecting their intelligence, knowing that they can make up their own minds on these issues once they're given truth and the right information. You guys are doing that, Dan.
Well, thank you, Governor. We hope to work with you on that.
Well, thank you so much, sincerely, and I'm glad that he was with us today to talk more about CPAC, especially. Coming up, an update on a bill. This one results in babies with Down syndrome who are a blessing to our world. Are they going to be able to live or not live? That's next.
One America News.